So now I'm going to be demonstrating the student management functionality of the system. So to access it, you have to be logged into an admin account. So we're first going to log into an admin account as teachers can access this. At the top, we have a navigation bar. When we click either of these, it will redirect us to whichever page. So if we click the students, I'm now redirected to the students page. From here, we can see that we can export students as a CSV file, import students from a CSV file, add new student, and a table showing their name, their contact information, whether they're active, and the ability to be able to edit them, view their timetable, alter their subject preferences, or deactivate them. Now I'm going to demonstrate what happens when you add a new student with empty fields. So when there's empty fields, you can see it says to please fill out this field. Now we're going to try add a student where there are correct fields. So let's say Alex Jones, and now we're going to add the contact information to one, and you can see that the table is updated and Alex Jones now exists. Now I'm going to show what happens when you try to edit a student. So when you edit a student, so it's currently it was before with Alex Jones, it's to Alex Khan. Let's change the first third number 4, and you can see the table has now updated and the name has changed and the contact information has changed. Now I'm going to demonstrate what happens when you deactivate a student. So when you click the button, it prompts you to see, are you sure you want to deactivate a student? I am, so I'm going to press OK, and now you can see in the activity column, active column, it shows that they are now inactive. Now I'm going to demonstrate viewing a student's timetable. So when you click view timetable, it shows that in this case, Alex is not enrolled in any class, so they don't have a timetable. But now let's enroll Alex. Well, one problem is you can't, well, not a problem, but functionality of the system is that you can't enroll students that are inactive, as you can see in the enrollments page, when we try to enroll a student, it only shows a list of active students. Alex is no longer here because he's inactive. But I'll demonstrate what happens later when you make a student that's already enrolled into a class inactive. I'll show that later. For now, we have Jade Martin, and I'm going to enroll them into class Maths A. Now let's go on Jade Martin. When you press the view timetable, you can see that they have a timetable. In this timetable, you can see the day, the class, subject, teacher, start time, end time, and you can also unenroll them. You can unenroll them here, and now they unenrolled from class. And now, just like before, their timetable is now empty because they are not enrolled in any class. Let's enroll Jaden into 2 classes. So Jade Martin is enrolled into class A, and we can also enroll them into English A. And what you can see is in the timetable, we can see that they are in both classes. So now Jade is in both classes when you view the timetable. Let's unenroll them from one, and let's see what happens, like how I was speaking about before when you make them inactive. So now they made inactive after I deactivate them. They're now inactive. However, when we go on their timetable, you can see they're still enrolled. This is to keep students' information even after being made inactive. We still want their presence in the class. We don't want to remove them instantly. But in this case, we're just going to remove them for now because we don't require them. So I'm going to unenroll them, and they will be removed from the class. If I try to enroll Jade Martin back into class, you can see they no longer appear on the list, and we can't enroll them into class as they are inactive. Now we're going to go back to students, and I'm going to demonstrate the subject preference functionality. So let's say I go on Isaac Lee over here. You go on their subject preference, or I'll just make a new student really quickly. So Muhammad Ali 756, and what you can see is we've created Muhammad Ali fresh, and now I'm going to work on the subject preference. You can see here we have English, history, math, science, as these are subjects that are available as of right now. So now if I'm going to add a normal subject preference, English priority 1. You can see it's been added. Now I'm going to try and add English again, but with the same priority. We can add the same thing. You can see again, it says the subject has already been added for the student. We can't add duplicate subjects. Even if I change the priority, it won't change anything because you can't add a subject when it's already been added. Now I'm going to try add history, but I'm going to add, let's say, a new one, a subject. Because I've added history with the same priority, it prevents us, as you can see at the top, an error message display that shows that subject with priority number already exists. Please use a different priority. So when I use history with priority 2, you can see it gets added, and now it's perfectly fine, as you can't add duplicate subjects and you can't add duplicate priorities in any case. So now we will try to delete a subject preference, and you can see when we delete them, It's completely fine. It's been deleted, and we can add them again. So I'll add science priority 2, maths priority 1, and you can see there's no problem if I try to add science at all. Subject has already been added. If I add English priority 2, because that's already the same, it won't work. As you can see, this works. Now we're going to import students. So I'm going to go in the import section. I'll demonstrate this. So we're going to import. First, I'm going to import a file. But what you can see is the CSV file must contain the following columns: name and contact. Without these, you cannot import no matter what. So I'm going to import a file where we have valid students. It's just valid. And what you can see is when we import them, we've imported 4 students. It shows how many have been imported, how many have been skipped due to, let's say, the potential errors. What you can see is now we have these 4 new students after Muhammad Ali, John Doe, James Smith, Michael Brown, Lucy Green, all with valid things or valid entries. And now we're going to import student with the missing name column, because of course we know name column is a must. So let's say we add a missing column. What happens is it says CSV must contain name column, otherwise it will not do anything at all. Now we're going to try import students with empty name columns. So the name column exists, however, in the rows, the student's name and the students' names are missing. And what you can see is when there's a missing name, when there's a missing name, we've imported 0 and you've skipped 2. The error is for row 2, the name is required. So because the student, even though the columns exist, because on the row the name is not present, that's why it's been skipped. And for row 3, it just shows because there's a duplicate student. So James Smith already exists. So when we try to import a row where we try to import a student that already has the same name, it prevents that as well. So there's 2 separate errors here. I already have a check for a duplicate student, so I'll just do that one as well now. So a duplicate student, what happens is when you have a duplicate student, you can see again it's imported 1, so the first row must have been completely fine. It was a correct entry. But row 2, as a result of the name not being unique and Adam Smith already existing, when we try to import a row that already has a name entry as Adam Smith, it will not work. And we see the error was row 2 student Adam Smith already exists. And you can see the new student from that entry, because row 1 is fine, it got imported. Now I'm going to export a student CSV file. And what you can see is when we export this, previously, when we imported, we would only import with name and contact. However, now when we export, we have the ID, because each student has a unique ID. We see the name, the contact, and whether it's active. 1 implying that it's active, 0 implying it's not. The names here are simplified, but we can see that they all have valid names and valid names, IDs, and contact information. There's nothing wrong. And yeah, that's it for student.